Hi guys! Today I wanted to go over some Temptu airbrushing reviews. I know I've been using Temptu for about 3 years now. I love their products. I'm very happy, but when I was first starting to get into doing airbrush for work, like on my brides or my prom girls or even for myself, I had a hard time choosing, and I go to YouTube a lot to do research on different things. I didn't find a ton of reviews on the Temptu, but I did end up doing a lot of different classes, makeup classes at different shows, and that was really helpful. But I thought maybe I could put together a video that would help other people trying to pick an airbrush company and why I think Temptu is one of the best companies out there. I first started with their big hairbrush, the S1, and it has been a great machine. It's very durable, it's heavy, and it's a little bit loud. It's not super loud, but it gets the job done. I love it, and it's served its purpose for sure. I also use with it for the gun, I use the S35, which I also love. I always have two. I've had this gun clog up on me if it's not cleaned properly, which when I was first starting out, sometimes I wasn't cleaning it completely properly. And then when you do a lot, you should take it apart. Temptu does have videos on taking it apart and cleaning it, and they're very helpful. I only use these ones now for my alcohol-based makeup because I now have the Temptu Air, which I love. I don't think I could live without this now, and I'll show you a little bit more about that in a minute. But for these ones, because the Temptu Air is plastic, you don't want to put an alcohol cleaner in there. The alcohol can ruin the plastic. So if you're going to be using an alcohol-based makeup, you're going to need to use the metal gun. The Dura is the Temptu's, they have the like gray lids, the dark grays. I actually have them in the little, you can buy them in the little kits too. They're the, let's see, it says the Dura, and this is the skin tone set. Why you would use an alcohol-based makeup would be for something that's going to last. It's waterproof. It is not a facial makeup. It is not something you'd want to put on your face. When I use it, I typically use it to cover a tattoo. That's probably 90% of the reason why I would use it. I also have, they sell these, what are they? They're like Dura palettes, and you just spray them with alcohol. Usually I'll just use a spray bottle. It has to be 99% alcohol, which Temptu also does sell. Right here, it looks like this. This is their bigger bottle. They do have smaller bottles, I think. This is the 16-ounce bottle. But, yeah, you just spray a little bit in here. I use a little brush. The brushes you can order also from them. They're awesome. These are the Temptu brushes. Let me show you some. But they're thin, and they're perfect for working around, like, a tattoo. Fine lines and stuff like that. So I'll use that thinly, the orange, the corals and stuff if it's like a black tattoo, or like, because they have that bluish greenish hue, it covers it up pretty good. And then I'll go over it with the skin colors, and it's a process. There's a lot of building when covering a tattoo. I think Temptu actually also has videos on that, which are helpful too. The S1 machine came with this cord, which was great, and it worked well for a while until I went to another class when I was in Orlando at the Premiere Hair Show, and I went and saw a Temptu class there, and the guy was using this nylon, like, amazing thing, and I was like, oh my gosh, it looks so much better. So I went up and talked to him, and he said, yeah, these are like awesome. Not that there's anything wrong with the other one, you just have like way more length, it's not coiling and messing up on you, and it's just easier to work around with this one. So if you are using that, and this one I recommend definitely. Not that you can't use the other one, it's just I find it's easier, it's better. I also always clean the skin with their alcohol pads before applying any of the makeup on the body. I don't use this on the face. So that's pretty much it for the S35. You can also use your regular makeup in there. Like I said, I did for a really long time. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the Temptu Air. I got this just last year at another show. Actually, well, it was this year technically. It was in May. I think it was May. Yeah, it was May. In New York City at the makeup show. And it comes in this box, which I actually keep it in the box. It just works for me. That's how I carry it in my case. It's got a little bit of makeup on it. I use it all the time. It looks like this without anything on it. And it has this right here. This is your charger, which is so cool. This can be literally charged in your vehicle if you needed to. It holds a good charge too. I probably use it on 2 weddings. I'm averaging like 6 to 11 girls. So that's like at least 20 people I will use this on before recharging it, and it's never actually died on me. What's nice is it has these little lights. I'll show you. See? And that's to make it go different speeds for the air coming out, but they will flash when the battery is about to die. And like I've had it flashing, and it flashes for a really long time, so it's never actually died on me. It comes with a little charger. It's got like an USB cord and everything. It's just seriously the most wonderful thing. And then it has your pods. These are the pods. Now I actually have never used a loaded pod that already has stuff in it, because I'm working on so many different people and so many different skin tones. I like to mix my own. So I buy all, I have literally every shade. You could make you could do anybody's makeup with all the shades that I have, because you can mix them. They also have adjusters, which are like yellow and green and blues, and you need like the teeniest drop for people's undertones. If you don't find the exact color you need, you make it. So basically, the pods that I use come like this, and you just take this little plastic piece off there, and then you take this here off, and then I just slide it in. You kind of line it up with everything, and I slide it in, and it will, sometimes you gotta get it just right, it'll click, and then you have it in. So then you'll take your silicone base, the SB, and you will put a couple drops in. Honestly, to me, it's better to have to go back and mix a little more than to waste the product, because sometimes you just want to cry when you wasted a whole 5 drops or something. So I just put a few drops in, and especially to make sure the color's right, so you can test it on them, and if it's a little too dark, a little too light, you can adjust it a little bit. So then, yeah, you hold the button down, and that turns it on. Now there's always a constant airflow with this, which is awesome. And then to actually have the makeup come out, you have to pull back on the lever, and you can kind of hear it, and then you'll have it come out. Now and then to shut it off, or you can have the different speeds, press it gently, and then hold it, it will shut off. Now when I put this away, I always leave a little bit of the silicone base cleaner in it. Like I will clean it all out real well, run the silicone cleaner through, and then I'll leave a little bit in the gun. I find that it keeps it ready for me every time. It's nice and hydrated and ready to go, because sometimes the makeup gets caked in there and you don't even realize, and you think you cleaned it really well, but it's still in there. And these are not as easy to clean and take apart as the S35 is. You can actually take that apart and soak in alcohol. This you cannot. So I do that to keep it lubricated. And I find that I've had very good luck. And I also always keep a backup just in case, because the worst thing would be to show up on a 10 people wedding party and say, oops, my airbrush isn't working. So it's honestly 100 times better, and you're covered if you do that. To get the pod off when you're done, you press this there's a little side button here. You press this and this at the same time and kind of just pull down, and it comes right out. It's pretty easy. Now also, when I am cleaning it, I find it best, you pour a little bit of the SB cleaner in there, And then I take one of the Temptu brushes and I like wipe it around in there and like clean it in there really good and around the tip and stuff. And then run it through a few times like that just to make sure you got all the makeup out, because it's not fun when you go to try and do a wedding or something and it's caked up with makeup. It just doesn't work well. So that is that machine. I highly recommend it, but I don't think it takes the place of the S1 because the S1 is good for everything. So I feel like if you're going to start out, that would probably be the best thing because it can do everything. You can put your alcohol makeup in it and you can put your regular makeup in it too. It'll at least get you started without spending too much of a fortune. Now, some of the other products from Temptu that I use and really enjoy is their concealer wheel. This is also a silicone base of makeup. It's the same mixture as the liquid, but in a cream form, so that it mixes well with when you do the airbrush. But it's better for covering, concealing, you know, a little heavier if you need that heavier coverage. I also have for under the eyes, the dark circles that people get. These work really well too. They're I guess I'm not really sure what they're called. They're under eye concealer. I guess it's just a concealer, like a cream. It looks like a lipstick almost, but it works really, really well. And I have good luck with that. Now the airbrush, when you're done, leaves like a dewy hue on the skin. And it's very glowy and youthful and beautiful, but some people do not like that. Temptu does have the Invisible Difference powders. They have them in light, medium, and dark. And they're all pretty light. They're not super dark or anything, but they don't really change the work you've done underneath, but they will matte down that look for people if they don't like that shininess. I like that look, but I have come in contact with people that don't. So it's good to have on hand as well. One of their newer things that have come in handy with me and I love is they have these, mine's are like jumbled, I shoved them in here, but they're these root hair color touch-ups, and these have come in handy so much. I have had so many people who are getting ready for a wedding and don't get their hair colored before. And I can cover it up for them, and they are so happy. And it's an extra charge for me. Like, I charge a little extra, and it looks like they got their hair done. So you kind of are saving them and making out at the same time. They also can be used as the Airbrush. You can use them it comes with these stencils, but you can use them for eyebrows, which is pretty awesome. I have to tell you, I was very intimidated with this at first, but like anything, the more you practice, the better you get. It's just, you know, try on your friends yourself and stuff like that before. So one of the things I do recommend is that you practice on your friends, your family, yourself, anyone you can get a lot before, because when I first got my airbrush, I had been doing makeup for a long time, but the airbrush is just completely different, and I probably had the hardest time with placement, knowing exactly where it was spraying, because especially with the S1, you can't see it coming out. So getting that down, the placement of the blush and the contour and the highlight, and knowing where everything is going is huge. So I say practice, and it can't hurt. Some of my probably most used colors I always have like backups of, and the Temptu has the SB. It's just the regular foundation, which I love, but when they came out with the Air, they came out with this Hydro Lock foundation, which I like 100 times more. It's crazy because it was wonderful before, and then they created something even better, which I didn't even think was possible, but somehow they nailed it, as always. It's a semi-matte finish, but the coverage in this stuff is amazing. The ability to build if you need to have that flawless magazine look, and it photographs beautifully. I cannot even begin to tell you how wonderful a bride or even the bridal party looks after having the airbrush done. The durability is insane. I've run 5Ks after having my makeup airbrush on, sweating pouring off me, and my makeup did not move. I mean, I've had so many people test it. I've had people been splashed in the face with drinks and it did not come up. Tears, crying, no lines, no streaks, nothing. It is insane. Same with the hair stuff. This has to be washed out. If it gets wet or rained on or something, it's not going to come dripping down their face after it's dry. It needs to be like scrubbed out. That stuff's awesome too. I'm super happy with their products. I have really no complaints in a sense. I'm very happy. I also use almost forgot their primers. They have their regular primer that I use for people with normal skin. This is well, I guess it's just the primer. I don't think it has a special name. This is their bigger bottle. I go through a lot of it, so the bigger bottles always work better. But then they have this one for shiny skin. So you can pretty much tell when someone has shiny skin because they come to you almost with shiny skin, or you can ask if you're not sure. I will ask a lot of people, do you have more normal to dry or oily skin? If they say oily, shiny, I use this. If they don't, I use this. It just gets the skin prepped and ready for the makeup, which is helpful as well. They have some awesome blushes, awesome highlighters, and actually a lot of their skin tones, when you buy in the kit, the bigger kits, the little ones come in they're like little. If I don't use a certain color because it's too dark or too this and you just don't ever really use it, I use it as a bronzer or a contour, and I make use of all my colors. There's no reason why you should be wasting any of them. You can make do. Even with the ones that are too light, I use them as a highlighter. There's really no reason why you shouldn't be using them. Yeah, that's pretty much my rundown on the Temptu systems that I have tried. There's more out there. I've actually had a lot of people that I've done it on who've gone out and bought them for themselves, the Air one, because they loved it so much. And I've actually had a lot of people wear the makeup the next day. That's how durable it is. I'm very happy with it, and I definitely suggest going with Temptu as your airbrush company. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Thank you. Bye.